My ex-wife announced her engagement and pregnancy at my mother's funeral reception, and I made sure it was the last time she ever said that baby's name out loud. The house was too quiet for how many people were inside. Plates clinked, low voices filled the rooms, but it all felt muffled, like everyone was careful not to be too loud around grief. My mom's picture sat on the table near the window, and every few minutes, someone would walk up, stare at it, then walk away like they didn't know what to do next. I stayed near the back wall. That's where I'd been all day anyway, at the funeral, at the cemetery, now here. Close enough to be seen, far enough that no one had to talk to me longer than necessary. That's when she walked in. Sophie. Black dress, calm face, like she'd rehearsed this. I hadn't seen her in almost 2 years. Not since everything ended. Not since the night that took our daughter. Our daughter, her name was Ava. She'd been 6 months old, and for a long time, people didn't say it out loud around me anymore. Sophie spotted me immediately. Of course she did. She always knew where I was in a room. She didn't hesitate, just walked straight over. "I'm sorry about your mom," she said. I nodded once, thanks. That was it. No hug, no softness, just two people standing in the same place they used to belong together. Then I noticed the guy behind her. Tall, clean shirt, trying a little too hard to look respectful. Sophie glanced back at him, then back at me. "I didn't come just for that," she said. "Of course. What is it?" I asked. She took a breath, like she was about to say something important, something she'd practiced. "I'm engaged," she said, "and I'm pregnant." I didn't react. Not because it didn't hit, but because it did, and I wasn't about to give her that in this room. "Okay," I said. She nodded quickly, filling the silence. "His name's Ryan. We've been together for a while now." "A while." I didn't ask how long. Then she said it. "It's a girl." Something in my chest tightened. "Congrats." "Thanks," she said softly. There was a pause. Then she looked at me, just for a second longer than before, and said, "We're naming her Ava." Everything around me went still. Not quiet, just distant. "Ava?" I repeated. She nodded, like she expected this part. "Yeah." I stared at her. "You remember that was—" "I know," she cut in, "but it feels right. I want to honor her." "Honor her." The word sat wrong. "You want to honor her?" I said slowly. "By giving the same name to another kid?" "It's just a name," she said. "It doesn't belong to one person." That did it. Not loud, not explosive, just sharp. I nodded once. "Right." She relaxed slightly, thinking that was the end of it. "Do you want to meet Ryan?" she asked. I looked past her at him. He straightened immediately. "Yeah," I said. "Let's do that." We walked over. "Hey man," he said, offering his hand. "I'm Ryan." I shook it. "Yeah." Sophie stood close to him now, her hand resting lightly on his arm. "This is—" "I know who he is," I said. Ryan gave a small, polite smile. Then I looked at him. "You're good with the name Ava?" I asked. He nodded. "Yeah, we both like it." I tilted my head slightly. "Did she tell you where it comes from?" Sophie stiffened. "Can we not do this here?" I ignored that. Ryan looked at her. "What do you mean?" "It's nothing," she said quickly. "We just like the name." I let a second pass. Then I said, "That was our daughter's name." Ryan blinked. "Oh, yeah," I continued. "The one who died." Sophie's face tightened. "Stop." "But I didn't." "You remember the night?" I said, finally looking at her. Her eyes flicked around the room. People were listening now. "Don't," she said under her breath. "You told everyone I'd been careless," I went on, voice steady, "that I'd fallen asleep, that I didn't check on her." Ryan's expression shifted. "That's not—" Sophie started. I cut her off. "Where were you that night, Sophie?" Silence. Ryan looked between us. "What's he talking about?" "She was out," I said. "Left the house around 9. Said she needed air." Sophie shook her head. "This isn't the time. She went to a bar," I said. "I have the receipt. 9:42 p.m. 2 drinks, maybe 3. Ryan slowly pulled his arm away from her. "She told everyone she was home," I continued. "Said we were both there, that we both messed up." "That's not true," she said, but her voice had changed. I took out my phone. "I never said anything," I said, "because I thought, what's the point? Our daughter was gone." The room was completely still now. "But don't stand here," I said quietly, "and act like you're honoring her." Sophie looked like she couldn't breathe. "You left," I said. "You came back drunk. You put her down wrong. Then you made sure I carried it." Ryan stepped back completely now. "That's not—" She tried again, but it didn't land. "Not anymore." I put my phone back in my pocket. "You don't get to use her name to feel better about that," I said. "No yelling, no scene, just the truth sitting in the middle of the room." I stepped back. "Pick another name," I added. "This one's not yours anymore." Then I turned and walked out. No one stopped me, and behind me, for the first time in years, no one defended her either.